Gunshots turn a joyful night into a nightmare.
Mr. Jackson lying there in a pool of blood, and all of this was witnessed by his fiancée and her daughter.
Was Jackson's fiancée or stepdaughter able to provide a description of the men?
It was a group of men all wearing masks, dark hoodies.
We were notified by the bank that someone had made attempts to cash these checks. He's like, well, hey, yeah, that was me on the camera.
Did investigators believe him?
No, ma'am.
What's so alarming about this whole situation is that it didn't have to happen.
Hi, I'm Nancy O'Dell. Today's Crime Exposé takes us to the affluent neighborhood of Riverside, Georgia, just 20 miles northwest of Atlanta. Gunfire turned a beautiful spring night into a family's worst nightmare. Atlanta police found themselves on the hunt for multiple assailants when a beloved man was murdered in his own home. Identifying the shooter would prove challenging and reveal the tragic motive behind this senseless crime. May 7th should have been a night to celebrate for Jerrick Jackson and his fiancée. Their daughter had returned home from college, and the couple had enjoyed a night out.
They had had a late dinner and then finished the dinner and were actually coming home for the night.
But as the couple was exiting their Porsche SUV, they were confronted by masked assailants.
When Jerick and his fiancée pulled up at their residence, the individuals basically ambushed them. And so he began to fight the suspects. As he began to fight, one of them actually shot Jerick.
911 calls came in from neighbors as well as Jackson's stepdaughter.
They heard 3 gunshots, and they also said black Porsche SUV with the doors open.
Atlanta police arrived at the scene minutes later, and 47-year-old Jerrick Jackson, who was still clinging on to life, was rushed to the hospital.
It was a very chaotic scene. The police were talking about Mr. Jackson lying there in the foyer area of the house, you know, in a pool of blood, and of course, you know, all of this was witnessed by his fiancée and her daughter. So it was difficult to get them to calm down, to get an understanding of what was going on.
Jackson's fiancée described how the robbery had escalated.
Several men in masks and guns confronted our victim, Jerrick Jackson, and his fiancée at gunpoint, demanded their money and took cash from them and their cell phones, and then rushed them into their house, essentially forced them to go inside their home.
Knowing that his stepdaughter was in the house, Jackson did everything he could to stop them from entering.
She was home from college. She heard the commotion downstairs, and she went to see what was going on. When the daughter came downstairs, they saw her. They made an attempt to go up the stairs. And it was at that point that, you know, it's our belief that Mr. Jackson was just protecting his daughter, and the fight was on. And so now he's fighting with these 3 individuals, not one particular. And it was during that fight with them that he was shot.
You can call him a hero, so to speak, because he was trying to protect not only his fiancée, but as well as the stepdaughter who was inside the residence.
The assailants fled after the shooting.
They took their ATM cards and blank checks. That's it. They really didn't get much from the incident. I believe that the fact that Mr. Jackson fought back kind of startled them.
They were hoping to get more, but at the point where the robbery had turned into a shooting, they grabbed what they could and they left.
Was Jackson's fiancée or stepdaughter able to provide a description of the men?
They described them as 20 to 25-year-old black males. It was a group of men all wearing masks. She couldn't identify anybody, and the daughter couldn't identify anybody either. So Based on the initial police report, there weren't many leads or much evidence to go about.
Police immediately began canvassing the area and called in descriptions of what neighbors and other eyewitnesses had seen in real time.
They saw a black male with a gray hoodie. He was picked up by a black Mustang.
For the suspects, there's going to be 5 black males in total. One of the black males had on a red hoodie. Another one had on blue jeans. A third suspect had on gray sweats.
As news of Jackson's shooting spread amongst his neighbors and loved ones, the 47-year-old passed away.
That individual that was brought into the homicide office with his mother, he's like, well, hey, yeah, that was me on the camera.
The untimely and tragic murder of 47-year-old Jerrick Jackson sent shockwaves through the community.
People are definitely going to be interested, in particular because of the manner in which the crime happened, in conjunction with the fact that the victim was related to a well-known, high-profile minister in the area.
Jackson had fulfilled his childhood dream of becoming a train conductor and had recently moved into his home.
He did well for himself. He worked hard, and you could see a lot of the fruits of his labor, even with the car that he drove, which was a really nice Porsche.
Investigators left no stone unturned, canvassing the area and exploring all possible motives for the crime.
They solicited help through tips from the public. So they would do a news story. And once they do that news story, usually tips start pouring in.
Jackson's brother asked his loyal congregation for help.
Wiley Jackson, who is the victim's brother, who was the well-known minister in the area, immediately got involved in the case by pleading to his congregation as well as the community and offering a reward in order to gather more information about who killed his brother.
Investigators explored the possibility that the megachurch pastor was the intended target of the murder.
We knew that the church had some issues concerning some things, but there was never anything to suggest that any of that was related to Jerrick Jackson's murder.
Detectives focused their efforts on Jackson's neighborhood and located surveillance footage of the black Mustang eyewitnesses had seen on the night of the murder.
I remember recovering surveillance video from the neighborhood, and it's clear these people were riding around looking for a victim, someone to target.
Police could see the make and model of the car trailing the Porsche and used their investigative skills to determine the license plate number.
We were able to determine, hey, someone just made a police report about being robbed and their black Mustang was taken earlier that same day. And we make the connection. So now we know the tag number, we have everything.
While investigators tried locating the stolen car, they also hoped the stolen items from Jackson and his fiancée might help them find their suspects.
Investigators immediately wanted to catch whoever was responsible for this. So the first thing that they ended up doing was investigating the credit cards and the ATM cards, along with the checks, to see if there was any activity from any of the financial institutions.
Someone had attempted to cash one of the stolen checks.
The woman who was on camera, she was caught on camera using one of the checks from the victim.
The images were released to the media.
And interestingly enough, that person reached out to the police. Hey, that was me that you guys saw. I need to talk to you guys.
The woman acknowledged she was illegally trying to cash a check, but insisted she had not stolen them.
The purse was reportedly tossed, and she got the checkbooks from someone. In a nutshell, she was hoping to get her some money.
Although she had tried to pass the check that wasn't hers, there was nothing to suggest the woman caught on camera had any connection to the crime.
And that was the same scenario with respect to the ATM cards.
On the same evening of the murder, a single male figure is seen getting out of a car and using an ATM machine with one of the stolen debit cards.
That individual that was brought into the homicide office with his mother, he's like, well, hey, yeah, that was me on the camera, but this was the guy that was with me. I was walking down the street and I got picked up by this guy named Demetrius, him and a couple of other guys, and they're in his car, and I just went to the ATM machine, got the money, and we got back in that Crown Victoria, and I had some money and I went my way. But he was able to give us the names of the individuals that he got these cards from, and it was from there where things started moving along in the investigation. These guys were there in the car. They were there in the area when this murder occurred.
Jerrick Jackson's tragic murder and the media attention it received generated numerous tips that helped police identify the getaway car and a loosely connected group of suspects.
We got names and we got individuals. We have the type of car that they were in, and that's where the case starts being built.
The investigation was gaining momentum when Atlanta police became aware of a 911 call from a concerned citizen who had been watching the news.
A good citizen is calling the police to say, hey, there are these kids riding around in this particular vehicle, a black Mustang.
The call had come from a home less than 2 miles from the crime scene.
It's just the person, hey, these kids are out here joyriding in it, and they went into this particular apartment.
Investigators made their way to the apartment mentioned by the caller, and a young woman answered the door.
It was the girlfriend of Demetrius Morgan.
She fielded questions about Morgan and the vehicle he was allegedly driving.
A Crown Victoria that was captured on pictures. Well, yeah, that's my mom's car. This is what Demetrius' girlfriend tells us. That's my mom. She has that kind of car. So now we have, shortly after the murder, someone trying to get money out of a bank in a vehicle that we were able to connect with the murder, and we now have a name of this individual, Demetrius Morgan.
16-year-old Demetrius Morgan, who went by the nickname Meat Meat, had become the prime suspect in the investigation of Jerrick Jackson. New surveillance video was released to the public showing the men suspected in the fatal robbery, trying to use the stolen debit card at a convenience store.
Demetrius wasn't hard to find. He's seen it on the news that the police are looking, so it's in Demetrius' best interest to find us.
Demetrius Morgan reached out to the Atlanta Police Department after seeing himself on the news. What did he share with police during that initial meeting?
He essentially shared that, well, hey, first of all, I ain't killed nobody, but I was with these guys and that was it. I didn't have nothing to do with the murder. He just gave us the names of individuals that he was with, and that was it. And they had the purse and they had the ATM card. Essentially, these are the guys you need to be looking at.
Did investigators believe him?
No, ma'am. But, as an investigator, that's what you do. You take what you get. I mean, you'll find some bit of truth in it. And I think the truth in what he was telling us was he was with them. He knows these individuals and he's given us names. So we go from there.
Investigators weren't exactly sure how Morgan had been involved in the murder, but his statement was a watershed moment for the investigation. He gave police the names of men he had been out with that night, young men he knew as Trey, Big Papa, and Gino.
And so we started working on those individuals, those names, and just going from there, building up the investigation.
2 weeks after Jackson's murder, with the help of the media and various tips, police were able to identify the other men. 19-year-old Gino Lewis, 17-year-old Montravius Bradley, and they learned Big Papa was 18-year-old Alejandro Pitts, who amazingly agreed to an interview.
Do you know a young joker named Meat Meat?
I don't really know him like that.
So you don't know Meat Meat?
His name is Demetrius Morgan.
You never talked to him on the phone?
No, I don't know him. Would it surprise you if we said he knows you?
Pitts denied knowing anything about the crime or anyone involved in the murder.
We got you in the Mustang. Everybody in your neighborhood It's talking about how you had the Mustang, you and Trey.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about no handbag taken from the crime scene with a lady's credit card information in it?
I don't know about that.
Okay, all right.
Pitt's denials only strengthened the momentum of the investigation. Behind the scene, the Atlanta Police Department was steadily building their case.
Investigators were able to finally find the stolen black Mustang, which they were able to test. And they found fingernail clippings that belonged to at least 2 of the suspects who were inside that vehicle.
And we were able to get some DNA evidence from that.
In August, 3 months after Jackson's murder, Morgan, Lewis, Bradley, and Pitts were arrested. Demetrius Morgan was the first one to cooperate with investigators.
I heard a gunshot. I pulled like I didn't want to leave them because I ain't know who it was. Like who it was got shot. I ain't know they meant to kill.
So if I'm not putting words in your mouth, you don't know whether or not one of them's been hit?
When I heard a gunshot, I don't know if it's the man or them, one of them.
He heard the shots. He didn't know who shot. He just heard the shots, and then once they ran back to the car, he pulled off.
Did he tell you who had actually shot Mr. Jackson?
And he admitted to being there, but his only involvement in the case was he stayed in the car.
Demetrius Morgan eventually confesses to the crime and then tells police that there is also a 5th suspect in this crime.
He said 19-year-old Felton Lovejoy was also involved in the crime. Morgan was arrested after his interrogation. Morgan insisted the motive was solely robbery.
These guys got out with the intent to rob and get the car.
They spotted it, they lusted for it, and they wanted it. So that was the main reason why they targeted this particular victim, just because of the vehicle.
These guys were awfully young to be doing the things that they're doing. What prompts people, young kids, to wanna, this is what I'm gonna do with my life?
After the arrest of all 5 suspects, DNA testing on the fingernail clippings found inside the stolen vehicle showed they belonged to Lovejoy and Bradley.
When they took Mr. Jackson's life, they basically sacrificed their own life. And for what? And so they'll spend the rest of their life having to deal with this mistake that they made. And it's unfortunate and sad.
Jerrick Jackson's family will forever remember him for his bravery and for the happy moments they shared.
All they have now is memories, good memories of their brother, but they don't have their brother.
The man lost his life because some teenagers, some young boys, were in love with a car that cost a man his life, that changed several families' lives forever.
Felton Lovejoy and Montravius Bradley pled guilty to murdering Jackson and were both sentenced to life in prison. In separate trials, Gina Lewis, Alejandro Pitts, and Demetrius Morgan were each sentenced to 20 to 30 years for their role in the crime. And now it is time for today's Safety Spotlight. Despite what we see play out on the big screen, most robberies don't take place at a bank, but more commonly occur in parking lots, garages, or at residences, as we saw in this tragic case. A robbery or home invasion can be terrifying, even deadly, and though the rate of occurrence is decreasing, there are still steps you can take to help maximize your safety. For example, situational awareness, staying alert, and being aware of your surroundings and ready to respond goes a long way. Should you ever find yourself being robbed, safety experts recommend you remain calm and do not resist, as this may jeopardize your safety. Instead, if you can, make mental notes of their appearance and actions. After the robbery, immediately move to a safe location and report the crime. I'm Nancy O'Dell. For everyone here at Crime Exposé, please join us next time and stay safe.